Hello and welcome to the Bowlers Union. Keith and I are going to do another all-time test bowling lineup for you today, and we are going to focus on probably, I want to say, like the most loved and like fabled bowling attack ever, and that is the West Indies pace attack. Now, this team's quite interesting because Keith, you and your family have quite a lot of ties with this, don't you? Am I right in thinking a lot of the members or a lot of people we're going to discuss here potentially are your godfather? Or your family's godfathers?
Yeah, not all. I think they don't make the criteria because of the years that we've implemented this rule from, which was they had to have played from 85, which is the year you were born. Mm-hmm. My oldest brother, his middle name is Lancelot, and his godfather's Lance Gibbs. Mine, obviously, you know my middle name. Don't need to say it. His name
Douglas.
Well, the Hubert is from Clive Lloyd, who's my godfather, and then my brother Gary, as he likes to call himself, but his name's Garfield. He's, for obvious reasons, his godfather is Garfield Sabers. So yeah, there's quite a tie to West Indies and their team. Yeah,
like it. Where's if you don't mind saying, where's the Douglas from?
That's from my dad's probably best friend, whose middle name was Douglas. Who helped my dad a lot when my dad moved over here, especially, and helped with like looking after my family and stuff while my dad was playing and everything else. Yeah, so that's where that came in.
Did he play cricket as well or not?
Not that I'm aware of. No, he didn't. No,
mate, that's class. That's class. Well, so who do we have? Lance Gibbs. So we have to apologise to him because he'd be a shoo-in in this team. But obviously he's from, I think he stopped playing in the 70s.
Yeah. Sobers.
Sobers, again, he's a bit too old, but again, would be a shoo-in for this team with our all-rounder pick. And Clive Lloyd is a batter. So we're not interested in batters.
Before we start, where did the name Clements come from?
So Julian Clement. Julian is my grandpa's middle name. That was his dad.
Yeah.
Clement is my mum's maiden name.
Right.
That's where it comes from. It's not like it's a bit rogue. Put me on the spot now. I was just trying to remember. I get that right. So onto picking this team. Reminder of the rules: there has to be a spinner, there has to be a genuine all-rounder, and then there will be three seamers. Three other seamers, and we're not fiddling the rules. They're the rules. We're not going to get excited. We're not changing the dates or anything to suit our agenda here with this team. If you didn't play after my birthday, which is 1985 or my birth year, then unfortunately they're not being selected.
Yeah.
How do you want to start, mate?
Where do we start? I know we've got a list of bowlers. Do we just want to name them and then go back and run through the stats and stuff like that? Or
all right, well, okay. I'm not going to say he's in or he's not in, but we could start off with the highest wicket taker of all time for the West Indies, Courtney Walsh, who's got 519 Test wickets at 24. Growing up, I loved him. I literally loved him. He just made it all look so effortless, didn't he? Sort of big, tall, pushed it in from sort of mid-crease, wider crease, and then got them to hold up, nick people off for fun. He was him and Jason Gillespie were probably my favourite two bowlers.
Really?
Yeah, really? Growing up, yeah. I like Darren Gough as well, obviously because of the England stuff. But I used to love watching them bowl. I actually went to his last Test match in the UK. It was at the Oval. Can't remember the exact year. It would have been 2000. Let me double check. It would have been 2000 and something. But I went to the Oval. 2001. Yeah, I was there. Him and Ambrose walked off together and retired. Well, not retired. Sorry, just didn't play. They weren't going to play in England again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What a bowler Walsh was. Next bowler I've got down here, Curtly Ambrose with 405 wickets at 20.9, which is pretty insane. Another bowler made it look effortless to an extent. Really tall, long levers, It probably must have been horrible to face coming in like that angle, that height, and that kind of bounce as well would have been disgusting to face.
You hear stories about him, don't you, as well? Like when he kind of he'd see a bit of red and then he'd just crank it up. There's a masterclass he's done on Sky, I think, which will be on like YouTube or something, where he basically just talks about his kind of like what he would do. But there was one bit in there I remember he basically just walked down the pitch, look at where he wanted to pitch it, and like just literally just look at that spot and then just smash it as quick as he could. I'm like,
was he one of the first bowlers to deceive a batsman with the slower ball? Was it a knuckle ball or back of the hand?
Oh,
was it Ian Healy? I think he ducked. He ducked a ball, thinking it was going to be a flat one, and he yorked him and bowled him.
I think so. Because there's someone. Oh, I feel like someone got. Was it someone like Chris Reed or something like that, or was that New Zealand? I feel like I can definitely remember one where he did that because obviously he was so tall. But I don't know either of them like personally, but from their media exposure, Ambrose seems a bit more chatty and stuff. You don't see or hear a lot from Courtney Walsh, but Ambrose, you see him doing a bit of coaching, you see him on comms a bit more or doing like things like this masterclass. Whereas Walsh, I have no idea what he's doing anymore.
No, not a clue.
To be honest. I mean, they're two pretty. Are they both shoo-ins, or is there debate to be had?
I think we need to go through it first, Chris.
Okay. Well, should we go? I'm assuming
the next one is Malcolm Marshall, 376 wickets at 20.94. I watched him bowl once. I still remember it. We're in Barbados, and we go every year. And this time the West Indies were playing. And I was only four going 5, but I still remember my dad just saying, so I stood next to my dad, and my dad was like, watch. So I just do as I told, so I watched. And obviously, anything would have looked quick then, but I still remember the keeper being stood so far back, and there was just fear amongst the stands for the batsman. And I don't know if you remember, I've said this story before when we played at the club ground, not Windward Cricket Club in Barbados, the other club ground we played at in the West Indies, where it was Malcolm Marshall's home ground. And they said
Carlton?
Well, the pitch kind of middle of the square drops about 3 foot.
I reckon that's Banks Brewery. Was it?
And they were saying that Marshall, when he bowled a bouncer, it just hit the sight screen on the full, like just wouldn't bounce. That's how quick he was. Unbelievable bowler, massive angle on the run up as well, if I remember correctly.
So again, he's a little bit before me, but I feel like for our generation now, like our parents and people a bit older than us, this is the bowler they probably talk about more than anyone else, about like rapid, swing it both ways, like pure skill, but could bowl wheels. He was the Hampshire bowling coach, so I've got a photo with him somewhere. I think he gave me a ball, but I can't. You know what I mean? I never saw him bowl because he was obviously a coach. I think he literally probably just stopped playing, but he stopped playing Test cricket in '91, so he is allowed to be in our team. I think he might be based on everything we've heard. Do you know what I mean? Swing it both ways at pace.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll throw another one out there then. So let's go with Joel Garner, who again I haven't seen a lot of, and he finished playing in '87, I believe, right? So that's after, it's after the date we're looking for. So that's a win. 259 wickets at 20.9. So interestingly, Ambrose and Malcolm Marshall all average 20.9, which is insane. I think, how tall was Garner? He was like 6'8", wasn't he? He was like taller than Ambrose almost.
Yeah. I just obviously my dad was from the West Indies and stuff, and you get it just seemed like when people talk about him, it was like you were facing death. that's all I can like. Just death is coming to get you. Like just big, huge, long levers, and there's no way of getting out of it. You can't. You're gonna take a bit of a battering at some point. I think he's someone that I think, if just from hearing the stories, I wish I had that aura.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool because I think he was famous for having a good Yorker as well, which is quite unusual for like taller blokes, because normally it's the shorter guys who skid them in there. But imagine if you're getting a Yorker from someone at 6'8" to 6'10", at some point in that you're thinking that's a beamer, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? Definitely. It's crossing your mind that it's coming at your head.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, phenomenal bowler. Again, he is on the older side of what we can remember. So these are all kind of stories and stuff. But you do see footage, don't you, online and things. And he looked, yeah, exactly like you said, mate. Pretty terrifying, to be honest. There's another one from that era, the Whispering Death.
Yeah.
So I mean, what we got? Michael Holding, 249 wickets at 23. So he's slacking a bit compared to the other three we've mentioned.
I mean, yeah, comparing to the last three we've just mentioned, but at the same time, I'm not sure how many games he played, but he had a better average than Courtney Walsh.
Yeah.
And I know
60 games he played.
Yeah. How many games did, if you compare him to Walsh?
So directly comparing, Walsh played 132, Holding played 60.
It's probably more important, what was the strike rate from both of them?
So Holding's strike rate was 50, Walsh's was 57, but Walsh's economy was 2.5 and Holding's was 2.79. So they went about it differently. This is a really interesting one, but again, because Holding is on the older side, so I've seen him in the documentary like Pace Like Fire and stuff, and obviously I've heard him as a commentator and things. Actually, I'm going to give an unpopular opinion.
Go on.
I don't love his commentary. I found him quite triggering because he just talk about pitching it up and bowling fuller, and then all I'd watch is videos of him peppering people. So I thought I was a bit one of those, just pitch it up a bit more, you're bowling too short, and then all I've heard about is him just going boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, phenomenal bowler. And again, the stories you hear of him are just him bowling absolute rockets at batters without helmets as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're like, ugh. Oh my God. Who else we got? Do you want to do one of the more modern guys?
Well, he's in here, Kemar Roach, who's got 284 wickets at 27.21. I feel like this is more of an honourable mention for me. But yeah, averaging 27.21. He's been a great bowler. He's still playing now, isn't he? So, you know, he's still going now. So he's had a good long career. And I think he's done really well because he was quick when he first came onto the scene for quite a long time. And then as he's got older, he's become more skillful, learned how to bowl with a Duke's ball over here, and just being absolutely solid for the best county in the country. Yeah,
no, he's here again this year for Surrey, I'm pretty sure. But he also just a jet at left-handers. I feel like as there's been more and more left-handers coming to the game, he's kind of become class, hasn't he? Just going straight round and just getting that kind of angling it in, shaping it away vibe going on. And you do hear, and again, this is, I guess, a bit anecdotal, but you do hear that wickets have improved over time, right? That wickets now are probably flatter than they were perhaps in the 80s and the early 90s. So his record there is on some of the flattest surfaces that probably test bowlers have seen. And also his record stands out in a West Indies team that isn't quite it's not as strong as the one that all the other guys were in. Like he's not really, he's had a variety of new ball partners and stuff like that, and a lot have come and gone, and they've all done well, but he's stood out. Whereas the other bowlers have always been supported by, well, like Walsh and Ambrose opened the bowling together for a decade, didn't they? Near enough.
Yeah.
So his record is actually really good. And also, shout out that he didn't go the white ball route.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And he kept playing Test cricket. I like that. Maybe that's me being stupid. I don't know.
And then from another, with this more, probably the only genuine out-and-out all-rounder that we've seen who's done really well, I think it's Jason Holder. 162 wickets at 30.39. I don't know if there's any other all-rounders in there that you've found.
Well, obviously we can't have sobers because that breaks our rules, which completely, goes against our morals and our picking the all-time bowling attacks. The only one in the recent era really is Bravo, but obviously he only played 40 games, so it's kind of whereas Holder's had that longevity and actually in his own right is a really fine player. So he's definitely the standout all-rounder. There's not really any more candidates. I don't think that leap out. To be fair, he as far as that goes, he is a shoo-in.
Yeah.
So I think we can
move on.
Just spin.
Yeah. Just quickly, just because you can start this sentence again. I've got to go in 10 minutes. I just realised the fucking time. A bit of because it's not a straightforward pick, but
no, it's not. It's not. Okay, so let's just focus on. I'll put 70. So spin. This is where this side struggles a little bit. You definitely be preparing something slow and that spun against this team if you played it. Yeah. So Devendra Bishu, 117 wickets at 37, is the standout spinner.
Yeah.
Outside of Lance Gibbs, who we've said is obviously not of the right era for our contest.
Yeah.
There's no other spinner whose stats really match up at all. Suleiman Ben has played a long time, but he sort of played a long time, but not a lot of games. 26 games, 87 wickets at 39. So really, Bishu is our only spinner.
I'd agree with that, mate.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Let's get down to this select 4. 3, because Holder is going to be that all-rounder, isn't he?
Yeah. So Jason Holder, all-rounder. Bishu as our spinner. And now we've got to pick the 3 best. Are we going for the 3 best seamers, or are we trying to make it like a cohesive attack?
I think just got to go with what's best for selection, Chris.
Yeah, this is really tough. I mean, or is it really tough? I don't know if it is.
Put one person straight in there.
Yeah.
Mr. Malcolm Marshall.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Never in doubt, that one. He of all of these guys, he's the guy who I think you associate with swinging the ball as well.
Yeah.
So 100% Malcolm Marshall. Whether he takes a new ball or not, I guess we'll figure out.
I've got him down to take it, to be honest with you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not going to debate that. Wow. Okay. So we've got to pick 2 of Walsh, Ambrose, Garner, and Holding. Can I rule someone out?
Yeah, I think I know who you're going to go with.
I think I'd rule out Holding.
Wow.
Is that what you thought?
Wow. I'm happy with that. That's not. I thought you might have kept him in there. I mean, he wasn't. The 3 that I've picked, he's not there. I thought you were going to say someone else.
This is. I mean, it's really difficult. Garner and Ambrose, of the remaining 2 spots, both averaged 20, basically, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
However.
So you're ruling Walsh out of it, are you?
No, I'm not ruling Walsh out of it. He's the look at his. I mean, I was going to say he's the guy who's maybe a bit more economical, but Ambrose has got him for economy. I love Courtney Walsh, but I can see a world where he isn't in this team. But I don't know where you sit with it.
Well, it seems as though you kind of gone the same direction as me, to be honest with you. So can I just name mine and you see if you're... I'll give you my full...
Well, hang on. Ambrose is in, isn't he? Ambrose is in, yeah?
Yeah, I'll give you... So I've basically gone Marshall, Ambrose, Joe Garner, Holder and Bishop. That's what I've gone with. That I was quite happy with. But I don't know if you're... I'm guessing yours is the same.
Well, no, I hadn't picked. Ambrose is definitely in. He's the most economical and got the best average. So he's in. No doubt. For me, it's like, can you really leave out the leading wicket taker of all time?
So you would have no Joe Garner.
I just think we've got to debate it a bit.
Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. If you do me a favour, let's look at economy and strike rate for the two of them.
Okay. All right. Walsh's economy is 2.5. Joel Garner's economy is 2.5.
2.5, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Strike rate. This is what it comes down to.
Strike rate for Garner is 50, and Courtney Walsh's is 57. Yeah. Oh man, but then part of me's like, if we didn't pick Garner, we haven't seen Garner bowl. There is that part of it.
But what's the point in having it the year that he played? He's eligible to be in this whole thing because he played after you were born. So, and I was born. So,
yeah. Well, all right. Look, I'm happy to go. I'm happy to go with you. Joel Garner averages 20. So we've got Garner, Ambrose, and Marshall who all average 20. And you got Jason Holder doing his thing, being a ledge.
Yeah. I think realistically, if we were just doing out and out bowlers, this would be one of the most fearful attacks out of the teams that we've picked so far. I think if you were to take, no offense to Holder and Bishop, but if you were to just go 5 out and out seamers, if you were to chuck Courtney Walsh in there and one other, like a Bishop or whoever,
well,
I'd be fearful.
Graham Gooch was coach when I was at Essex, or one of the coaches, and he said Patrick Patterson was the quickest bowler he'd ever faced.
Really?
That was his chat. Yeah. But obviously we didn't even mention him, to be honest, because there's so many other good, amazing bowlers. So I think we happy, yeah.
Yeah. So who would you have opening the bowling before we finish this off?
You know what? I'll be totally honest. I'd go Marshall and Ambrose and have Joel Garner smashing back of a length first change. Holder, to be honest, he's going to be doing the dog work.
Yeah.
Bishop's probably not going to get a bowl. Couple before tea.
Holder up the slope into the breeze all day. Yeah,
100%. But this is a really good team. I wish I could have seen that operate together. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, I'm not going to get that luxury. But it's a fantastic team. So we're happy. We'll wrap it up there.
Yeah, mate. Happy with that.
As always with these, we'll post this. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree. This is a really good one to debate, I reckon, this side. So yeah, look, thanks very much for listening. Make sure you share it with friends and try and help us grow.
If you do watch this on YouTube, do subscribe definitely. We've got a lot more of these to come, and it'd be good to get some feedback, some comments as well, just to hear people's thoughts on the teams that we're picking.
Cool. Right, take it easy, everyone. See you,
guys. Bye.